Hello everybody and welcome back to LRN. Today our first episode of F1 Manager. Really excited to get into this, and we're going to kick off in a sort of road to glory style season, and we're going to do it with Aston Martin. So I want to kick off, obviously we see the season objective here is 8th, so probably aiming to finish ahead of the Williams. I reckon maybe the Haas would be the other car that we're looking to finish in front of, and I like the fact we've got a starting balance of high compared to maybe the Williams where you come in with a low budget and a worse car. I think the Aston Martin will give us a chance to maybe get some excitement, maybe a little bit quicker into the season than maybe if we went for the Williams, but also get some of that budget to get Lance Stroll out of the team immediately. That's what we're going to be looking to do. So we're going to set up the team, and I'm going to do what Lawrence Stroll should have done a long time ago and move his son on out of Aston Martin. So let's see what we can do. We'll get rid of the guidance. We don't need that. And I'm also going to try and design the car just to see what happens to be a car that is just really quick in a straight line, because maybe that will help us in terms of overtaking maneuvers down the line when we get in those DRS zones and make it really hard for cars to get past us if we're just really quick in a straight line and prevent anyone else making moves in the DRS zones. So that could be really, really crucial later on in the season as well. So let's see what we can do then. But I'm going to kick off by seeing, we've got 31 million starting budget, so that's decent. If we have a look at the facilities, I expect they'd be all right, but nope, not even a memorabilia room. So I mean, I guess there isn't much in the way of memorabilia for Aston Martin, maybe, but certainly, look, we can see the impact it has on morale with the drivers. So let's go straight away and make sure that we're doing that. So we'll get that built. No issue at all. We've got level 2 helipad, hospitality area, team attractiveness. So what else? Let's leave that though. On car development's going to be a really key one. We've only got a level 1 wind tunnel, so I think straight away we need to upgrade the wind tunnel so that any future upgrades we have coming down the line, they're going to be pretty decent. Obviously level 1 is just not good enough. CFD simulator as well. What's the cost to upgrade? I think that's too much at the moment to spend another 10 mil. So we'll come back to that one once we've got a bit more in the bank. But I do want... Oh, Nico Hulkenberg. What's his contract look like? So salary's 4 million. Lance Stroll contract is only 2 million. Interesting. So what I'm thinking to do, we're actually paying more for our reserve driver than we are for our second driver. And there's only 10 months left in his contract. It's not going to be a huge amount to break it at only 1 million. So what I think then is we're going to go ahead and we're going to offer a new contract to Nico Hulkenberg, and we're going to put him into the second seat instead of Lance Stroll, and we're going to bring in a youth driver instead, someone to build up and then replace Hulkenberg when he moves on. So we'll do the lump sum bonus. We're going to match everything we've got here on the current contract side, but we're going to offer him a better seat in the car and to take Lance Stroll's position. So let's see what we get then if we go ahead and offer Nico Hulkenberg a drive in the team. Will he go for it? No, he hasn't gone for it. Was it? All right, let's offer him 2 seasons. Let's see if that's something that he'll do. That's got to be better. What? Interesting. Okay, so he's still declining it despite the fact that it's all... Happy with this. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this salary. That's okay, but I think you can do better. Alright, so he wants longer term contract in the car. I'm fine with that. It's going to be a long term project here at Aston Martin. So, alright, let's go up to 3 years. Let's see what he says. Down? What? Okay. What if I go 2 seasons and I up his contract a little bit? Race target bonus. Alright, race target as well. And we'll go 15th. Offer contract. Let's see what we get now. Yes, there we go. Right, so we've got Hulkenberg. We're going to renew his contract. We're going to bring him in. Replacing Lance Stroll in car number 2. We've got a vacant role now, so we can massively reduce our salary here on what we were paying for Lance Stroll. So obviously he was about 2.5 million. So we're going to bring someone in nice and cheap, but a decent young driver, hopefully. So maybe let's look to bring in someone like a Felipe Drugovich. That could be a really good move. Let's propose a contract for him. I'm going to put him up around 250. No need for a race target. He's not going to be racing. Let's put him in the reserve. Let's make it a three-year contract. Offer him that. Let's see what he does. Declined. Okay. It doesn't actually say whether it's because it's... Alright, this is something they need to fix. It's telling me he doesn't like it, but it's not telling me whether it's because it's too long or too short. So, let's just go with the 1 year then. Let's see what he says about that. Right. He's happy with the salary, so let's put that... I'm going to put up a little bit. And again, he wasn't... Let's go up with the 4 seasons then. See what that says. It still doesn't tell me if he's... Oh. Right. Try again. 2 seasons. Right, that's got to be better. That's got to be accepted. There we go. Right, hire him. 600 grand. Done. But overall, we're going to save money. He's got a good young driver. He's going to have high potential. So we can train him up and hopefully maybe bring him in to replace Hulkenberg, or later on, depending on how the team's doing, we can look to maybe bring in a star. But obviously we've got Vettel, who's probably, yeah, he's on a huge salary at 14 million. So we've got Hulkenberg then on a much lower salary at nearly 5 million. And then a good, decent reserve driver, 260,000. Smashing it. Now, let's go straight over to see what we can do to actually improve the car then. And let's build. Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to chuck all of my resources in this team behind Sebastian Vettel. I'm going to chuck everything I've got. If we have a look at the staff, head of aerodynamics 65. Oh, and the technical chief 69. Right, these guys need to go immediately. Head of aerodynamics 65 rated. That is absolutely not okay. So let's go ahead and scout another member. We've got a free agent here, 75 rated. That's... Right. Let's have a quick look at the contract that we had with our staff. Right. Head of aerodynamics contract. He's on 1.45 million. Oh, God, look how long. 4 years. He's 65 rated. What are they doing? That is absolutely ridiculous. No wonder they can't do anything when it comes. And the technical chief as well, 69 million. His cost to break, so 69 rated, 1.5 million to break. So he's actually cheap. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. So for now, then let's change the technical chief because he's going to be the cheaper one. Because I want to use some of that money, of course, for upgrading the car. So we'll leave the head of aerodynamics for now, but he definitely needs replacing. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the tech chief moved on. So let's go scout staff, technical chief. So we've got T Chuang is a free agent at 78 rated. So I mean, let's go straight in for him then. Let's propose a contract. Cost to break. Let's go in at what? Starting bonus. Let's just say 1.2 million. Let me see what he says to that. It might be really low. I'm not sure because we haven't scouted him. It looks like it is low. Yeah, so he wasn't happy with that. So let's go up to 1.5. I think 1.5 is probably a fair amount. That'll do. Right, let's offer him that. See what we get. Still too low. Right, let's go up to 1.8. we just need someone better than 69 rated in such a key position in the staff. It's going to impact everything we do in terms of developing the car, what happens on the track. So it's a really important signing. Don't want to overpay, because obviously we want to wait and maybe get a superstar down the line that's going to get the big bucks. Maybe up the starting bonus a little bit. Let's see what this says. He's still not happy. All right, 2 million. Come on, 2 million has got to be enough. Surely. Let's go up to 3 seasons as well. See if that helps. Oh, come on, man. Right, hang on. How much are we... Oh, monthly salaries only... Okay, alright. Let's try 4 seasons then. 2.5 mil. 4 seasons. Just go for it, man. Oh, now that's gone down. Alright, no, he was happy with that. So 2 seasons at 2.5 million. I think we're on to a winner here. I'll do. Yes. Right, we've got him. Alright, so we've gone from a 69 rated technical chief to a 70-80 rated technical chief. Massive improvement there. Massive improvement. Yes, ahead of all technical development, lend their expertise to mechanics. So it's massively important that we have a much better. So obviously we've got that up to 78. The race engineers are actually really good, so happy with them. Ben Mitchell, really good, well respected up and down the paddock. Chris Cronin, less aware of, but I'm sure 80 rated. Happy with him and the team. And yeah, Ian Gregg, you are in the firing line, son, but not just yet. So let's have a look then at the car part development. Brand new design. We want whatever's going to impact the top speed is what we're looking for here. So side pods, I think we've seen it this season actually, the drastic differences in the side pod designs in F1 with the new regulations that have massively impacted what the best teams are doing. So let's go massive. Now it's 56 days. It's going to take us time, that pretty much that exact amount of time until the new wind tunnel's ready. So I'm going to put all of our resources into this design, and I'm going to go for it as quick as possible. That's the aim. We're going to make the car as fast in a straight line as we possibly can. So here we can do the design focus. We want to do the drag reduction. Now we should be able to focus on increasing the top speed. There we go. Look, so these will all still improve, but they're not going to improve as much as the top speed of the car. So that's fine. And the acceleration. So that's what we want. We're going to focus in on improving the top speed. So this would take it from 373.21 to 373.32. It's a decent gain. Improvement acceleration as well. High speed cornering. So I'm happy with that. So let's crack on. Let's get all of us. We've got 10 engineers available. So we're going to use as many of them as we can. So that brings the design down to 31 days. If we rush it, it's 21. Do we need to do that? It does impact the experience of the car. So we'll leave it at 31 days. We'll put all the engineers on it that we can. Obviously, we'll get manufacturing later on. We can actually... Oh, I could have designed a second part straight away. But it would have taken away from how much impact the part had. So that's fine. We can do a second part, but to be fair, it will still improve regardless, so we could just do it anyway. Obviously we can always go for a third part down the line. The costing shouldn't be that much. So what else is going to affect our top speed? So we've got suspension, I think, yeah, rear wing, obviously huge one with top speed, so let's just go for that anyway. And then again, we're going to do drag reduction as the massive focus. Downforce at high speed. I'm going to put all these down, and we're just going to focus in on that drag reduction. There we go. Right, development. We're going to put the rest of our engineers on that one. That's a 49 day. If we rush it though, it's going to come in a similar time frame as the other one, so we can do both upgrades at the same time. So let's rush it. We've got all our engineers working, so no one's sat around doing nothing, and we'll move on to the next part. Awesome. Right, inbox, welcome to the team. We've already done loads. I've already hired and fired, so we're in a good place. Car development key staff. Yeah, head of an Eric's already introduced to the new guy I've brought in. awesome. Felipe Drugovich come in, which is great. I don't know how much time we're going to be able to put him in the car in terms of his development this season, but it's fine. As I say, we're going to put all our eggs in the basket of Sebastian Vettel. He's our big hope. He's the guy we're going to give all the upgrades to. Keep all our money invested in improving Vettel's car. Obviously, once that reaches a point where it's scoring points consistently, then I'm going to pay and I'll upgrade the other car as well. But I think if we put all our eggs into that basket of driving one guy forward, then from considering we're right at the back, we have a much better chance of sneaking some points somewhere along the line. So I think that's definitely the way to go. Cool. So memorabilia room is ready, which is cool. So just improves morale, the drivers, the team. I think that's really, really key. Bahrain coming up first. Obviously, we're not going to have any upgrades or anything in time. I'm not going to give any guarantees around reaching Q2. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to be right down there with the Williams. That's going to be sort of our initial fight. I think even though it's showing us as, you know, aiming for 8th, I don't think we're going to be. I think we're going to be the 9th best team, like quite clearly, down there fighting the Williams. So let's see how that goes. Race target though, again, finish position 15th might be a lot for us to ask, but we don't have to risk anything here at the moment. It's all reward, no loss, because we're not making any guarantees. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to hopefully bring the money in. Once we get a better understanding of what the car can do, we can start making some guarantees to the board. And we're going to go ahead and go straight to the first race weekend.
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands. Either way, it's time for another fantastic weekend of Grand Prix racing. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low.
Cool, so what we're going to do then, I'm going to go ahead and do practice. I'm going to skip through all this and we're going to go straight through the qualifying. As we go through the practice, we'll be aiming to max out the track acclimatization, max out the car parts knowledge, and max out the setup confidence. Obviously, the car parts knowledge may take a bit more time because obviously we're at 0% at the moment. It takes time in the car to get that up. But hopefully we'll be 50% plus on the car parts by the end of the first lot of practice sessions. And then the setup confidence, we want it as maxed out as we possibly can. Obviously aiming for optimal, which is like 95 to 100%. But anything in the sort of 85 plus bracket would be ideal going into our first race. So we'll aim for that through the sessions, but we're going to head for you guys. In a second, we'll see exactly how we finish through the practice, and then we'll get straight into qualifying. Alright, so there we have it then. We've done practice. We've come out with 95% confidence in Vettel, 100% optimal performance from Nico Hulkenberg, so that was brilliant. We've also managed to get up about to 82% in terms of the car parts and their understanding of the car itself. So hopefully that will stop us going, you know, flying off the track, having lockups, things like that. I'm pretty sure that should help towards that element. And also we were 100% in terms of track acclimatization. So we've done all we can realistically during the practice session. So we're going to get straight then into qualifying. Probably not going to get any further than Q1, but let's hope maybe with what we've managed to do in practice that at the very least we're going to beat those Williams, and anything after that is an absolute bonus. So let's see what we can do. Obviously everything in quali is kind of, there's no point managing it itself. It kind of knows what it's doing in terms of deployment, but I'm going to send them out. If we have a look at our tyres, we've got 4 sets and we probably only need them for Q1. So I'm going to go ahead and send out Hulkenberg straight away. Going to send out Vettel after. Just going to put in a first lap. Obviously we've got at least probably 3 runs in this session to see how well we can do. Verstappen straight away holding up Vettel there, so that's not going to help, but let's see what times we come across the board with. And Hulkenberg nearly a second quicker than Vettel. So Vettel definitely getting caught up straight away there by Hulkenberg. So we'll have to see what the Williams do in comparison to us there. Come on, put a brand new set. No point just rerunning on the same tyres. We've got loads of tyres to use. And I'm going to send out Vettel for his second run straight away and see what he can do. I'll send out Hulkenberg as well. Hopefully they can find a clear piece of track. Held up Alonso, which could be to our benefit, to be fair. So let's see what happens here. Alonso's then going to hold up Vettel because Alonso's finished his lap. So that's a mess. So Vettel's still somewhat behind Hulkenberg there after the second run. So really poor from Vettel at the moment. Hulkenberg up in 16th though, ahead of Latifi, but behind Albon. So I really need something now from Vettel on what's probably going to be our final run. So we're going to wait till the end of the session now, and we're going to go out with everybody else. Vettel needs a big lap here. So when we go out, we're going to ride on board with Vettel on the final lap. Make sure he's got some fresh tyres on, which he does. We'll do the same with Hulkenberg. Fresh tyres for the final run. Fast forward. And what we're going to do, when everyone else starts going out, we're going to send them out with them. We'll send Vettel out first. Hopefully we get some slipstreams from the cars in front. So here we go. We'll wait for them to go around. Then we're going to ride on board, and we're going to track the time then of Vettel as he follows Perez. So round the final corner then, and we'll go ahead and ride on board with Sebastian Vettel, and we'll do some time comparisons then as we go through. So at the moment, as we can see, Hulkenberg still to come across the line. He's still coming down towards the final corners. Vettel then, what's he going to do? It's got to be green. At the very least, of course, it's got to be green. His previous times were really bad. 3.5 seconds off the pace, but more importantly, behind both the Williams at this stage. So we've gone ahead and set a green sector in Sector 1, which is brilliant. I think it was Sector 2 where we got caught up by Alonso. So the fact that we're already ahead in Sector 1 is brilliant. But we need to be really strong sectors now. Sector 2, Sector 3, and come out, well, what should be really in the top 15. We should be coming ahead of Albon at the end of this lap. Not sure why we're running down the middle of the track, but I'll take it anyway. Let's just see what Vettel can do here. Obviously, we've got a couple corners to go until the end of the second sector. Sort of come round here, should be up the top there. So let's see what he comes out with as we go through the sector time. It is green, so that's good. We've got 41.8 in the second sector. We can compare this now to Hulkenberg's first sector. So Vettel's 2/10 quicker than Hulkenberg, and Hulkenberg set his quickest first sector so far. So definitely a good lap so far from Vettel. 41.8 through the second sector, but we're getting overtaken now. Can we get in the slipstream? Maybe make the most of the slipstream in Sector 3. We've gone 15th with Vettel. What is going to happen? He's dropped down to 16th straight away, but we are ahead of the Williams. Hulkenberg as well. He's gone slower in the second sector, so that's not ideal. He's got no one around him though, so he doesn't have to worry about being overtaken. We haven't had the Williams go across the line yet. They're going to go across the line after Hulkenberg. We've got Latifi and Albon following Hulkenberg, so we're not going to find out till right at the end here. Hulkenberg's going to come across the line. Will he improve his time to go ahead of Alex Albon? Will he do it? No, he's improved a little bit, but not enough to beat Albon. Albon and Latifi have now come across the line, and they will stay 18th and 20th. So we are split between the Astons and the Williams. Is Vettel, Albon, Hulkenberg, Latifi, and that is it for our qualifying. But I think, as we will see in just a second, of course, both out then 17th and 19th. I think the key is how far were we off Mick Schumacher. So we're half a second away from Mick Schumacher in the Haas. So as we sort of talked about earlier, it's going to be a big jump now for us to try and go after the cars in front. We are very much in a battle with Williams to start, but with those upgrades coming, we're going to go after that sort of top speed and just try and become a DRS demon through this first season. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but as I say, we're going to have a bit of fun with it. But the key then in Bahrain is strategy. So if we look at this, we've got 2 stops through all 3 of these stints. So my plan is to go completely and create a brand new strategy. And we're going to go from the mediums because we don't want to lose track of the people in front. But we're going to go with a 1 stop from the medium to the hard tyre. I think there'll be a good enough gap between our drivers that we can pit them both relatively at the same time as well. Just want to make sure we get the optimum times here. We don't want to go too far down on the deg either, because the other cars on fresher tyres are going to be far too quick around us. But I think that's about right. We'll keep the pace target at 3, because again, if you go up to 4 or 5, you will lose time, because actually while it says it's quicker, it isn't, because at that stage of the race you're so degged out on your tyres that you're going to lose so much time that the game just doesn't seem to be accounting for. So we're going to go ahead with the one-stop strategy, medium to hards, create strategy D. We're going to do the same thing with Hulkenberg in the second car. New strategy, one stop, mediums to hards. We're going to bring him in around the same time. There we go. There we go. Create strategy D. So we are ready. We are set. And we're going to go one stop and just try. And maybe safety cars will come out at some point and we can drop in and get on the softs towards the end. But the plan is run long, make the most of any situation that comes up, see what happens in this race. But if we're going to get anything, we've got to do something different. Hopefully our former world champion Sebastian Vettel can do something for us. But let's go ahead then and get straight into our first race of the season.
It looks like clear weather tonight for this race, with the drivers now just taking position on the grid. And there's Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. There's the second Aston Martin. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. The teams are ready to go. Here we go.
Oh, here we go then. Looks like we've got Max Verstappen. Is that Verstappen on pole? We've got the Ferraris and the Red Bulls going to be in the fight, just like in real life. It's going to be Ferrari versus Red Bull. Mercedes in behind with Bottas up in 5th. We're going to jump on board with Sebastian Vettel, who's already up to 16th place. So it looks like he's already got a move on Mick Schumacher. I'm going to put him into overtake up the hill. See if we can still retain this position. As you can see, Mick's trying to come up. Is that Albon's trying to come up from inside? What's going on there? Come on, Vettel. Make the move. We've got Hulkenberg in front of Latifi, so at the very least, we've made a move. Oh no, obviously Latifi's ahead of him already. I don't know what's going on here. Both drivers losing positions. Obviously, we were 17th and 19th to start with. The Hulkenberg's gotten back where he started, but we've now lost out to Alex Albon straight at the beginning of this race, which is really not good, considering he was ahead of Mick Schumacher into the first corner. So let's see what we can do then with Vettel to get him back in front. We're going to go aggressive here. Maybe push on in terms of the fuel as well. Asking for some more pace. See if we can make a move here into the left-hander. We need to do something, because that Williams is going to fall off the back of Mick Schumacher in no time at all. There's no pace in that car. I know we're not much better, but we should be beating the Williams of Alex Albon. So let's see what we can do. Just nothing there. Not enough to make any moves into the braking zone there. Maybe we're going to have to wait to the end of this lap, or maybe... here we go. We've made the move. And we're going to be on the outside into the right-hander here. We've got the job done, and we're just about still within a second of Mick Schumacher in front. So I'm going to leave the pace higher just so we can stay in that DRS detection zone of the cars in front. Though it does seem like we're dropping back. So let's fast forward a bit. Hopefully we can stay in that position. There we go. So we're in the half a second. So I'm going to drop it back down now. We need to save the tyres.
Okay, so just lift and coast.
And we're over a second and a half ahead of Albon already. So we should then, as we head into the third lap and activating DRS, we should be in a good position. Hulkenberg as well should be able to make a move past Albon with a DRS. I'm not going to touch him. I'm going to leave his fuel to come up. Keep his tyres fresh. So we've got really good options later on in the race in terms of strategy with Nico Hulkenberg. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, we're still quite far back. So we're just going to run this. We're going to let... Again, we need to save our tyres and save our fuel. I've just realised I'm running ERS high there, so that's come off there. So we've got a decent amount. I don't need to worry about harvesting at this stage. It should give us enough.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
Multiple car pilot. What's happened there? Looks like a Haas. That was a Haas and a McLaren there coming together. So we've got positions on Norris and Magnussen have come together. And Magnussen looks like he's got a penalty. Let's have a look and see what happened.
Watch this. We're looking at Lando Norris.
So that's Magnussen getting it all wrong on the brakes and going straight into the back of Lando Norris, which is brilliant for us because that's 2 positions gained. We're up to 14th now with Sebastian Vettel, a second ahead of Magnussen, and he's got a penalty. So we can now keep following Mick Schumacher, hopefully staying in the DRS. We've got Hulkenberg up to 17th as well. If there's a few more incidents like that in this race, we could be looking at scraping a point. And remember, we have one less pit stop to do than all of the cars in front of us, which could be a massive, massive thing. We're just going to follow. There we go. Magnussen in the pits, obviously with the damage that he's had from the earlier incidents. We've got Hulkenberg up in 15th with a massive gap to Vettel. Unfortunately, we have lost. We're nearly 2 seconds behind Mick Schumacher now. So we're just going to keep running then through our strategy, fast forward it, get to the pit stops, and just see what happens. See how many people we get in front of when they're coming in from their pit stop. So running down about 4 seconds now. The fuel looking good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up being lapped. So maybe, I think we've got Hulkenberg now on the back of Albon. They're still fighting each other. We've got Ocon 3 seconds behind us, so they've come in for a pit stop. We're now 7 seconds off Ricciardo, but that's absolutely fine. Remember, the goal today is to beat the Williams, so we're in a really good position to do that. Albon's clearly trying to fly along, though. They're really, really pushing. He's within the DRS zone of us now. So he's only half a second behind Ocon. As other people come into the pits, we see Hamilton's come into the pit. Hulkenberg is right on Albon as well. So I'm going to push Hulkenberg on the fuel. See if Hulkenberg can get in between us and Albon. Oh no, Hulkenberg. What have you done? He's spun. Oh, for God's sake.
It's a spin.
Let's see what happened.
So this was the Aston Martin. What a spin!
So Hulkenberg absolutely loses the back end on the left-hander. Clearly not yet used to the car. We'll keep pushing on the fuel. He's still ahead of Norris and Magnussen, so he's not last. But as we sort of discussed, we're going to have to completely focus now on Vettel and just see how far up the grid we can go on the strategy that we've gone for today. Still got Ocon behind us. I think we have a look. Here we go. We got Ocon right behind us now. Albon's coming to the pit for his first stop, so he's going to be way, way behind us. Remember, only one pit stop to go for us in this strategy. Not too much we're going to be able to do in defending against Ocon, I don't think. So we're just going to skip ahead through, keeping our focus on the cars behind us. Up to 13th now as more cars come to the pit, but they, of course, are going to be on faster tyres. On a sort of faster strategy in terms of the tyre compounds, but we are going for that slow, methodical, one-stop strategy and see where it puts us. At the moment, it's working. Look at Albon and Latifi down in 19th and 20th. Hulkenberg up in 13th. I'll drop his fuel because sometimes this just doesn't tell you the truth in terms of laps. When you look at it, it says 1.6 laps remaining, and then all of a sudden it's 2 laps not underneath, so you have to save 2 laps worth of fuel. So I'm just going to be careful. I'm going to put him back down to balanced. Sonoda's coming to pit. We're up to 11th now. We've got 8-second gap to Ricciardo. Yeah, you can see like Hulkenberg's fuel now dropping, even though I put it to balance. So it does sort of fluctuate quite a bit. Obviously, you can see Vettel's there sort of going up and down despite the fact I'm not changing it. We've got 6.5-second gap to Sonoda. Magnussen overtaking Hulkenberg, but that is absolutely fine. We see Hulkenberg's down 17th, 18th, but he's still got an 11-second gap to Albon and a 19-second gap to Latifi. So that is solid work. He's busy fighting with Norris, so we'll leave him to carry on doing that. We've got our pit stops coming up soon, so we're coming into the pit window. Not the optimal pit stop window lap just yet. We are in the window. Still up in 11th place. So that is 11th place in this race because everyone behind us needs to pit again other than Hulkenberg. So we are still in a really good position with Sebastian Vettel. I think 11th, given the time gaps, might be the best we can hope for. Sonoda's gone past us, so I think we are going to fall back through the grid, but we are going to at least surely we're going to beat these Williams drivers. So there we go, hard tyre, pit this lap, let's bring him in. You can see all the cars around Vettel. He's holding everybody up on his older mediums. Cars around us, what tyres are they all running? So they were running on the mediums as well. So they're on fresh mediums, we're on used old mediums, but we're going to come in now onto fresh hards, and again, hopefully we can come out ahead of these guys when they pit again later on the race. Use that fresh rubber to move us ahead of us, do the undercut. And we're going to bring Hulkenberg in on the same lap. I know it gives us a warning about it, but there's enough gap between us and Hulkenberg that it's just not going to be a problem. So we're going to go ahead then and we're going to fast forward round to Vettel pitting from 12th position. Here he comes, and he should come out. Well, he's going to come out in clean air ahead of the Williams, with Hulkenberg coming into the pit behind him. So way ahead of Albon, and Albon needs to pit again, and we're on fresh rubber. So that should be us confirmed finishing ahead of the Williams in this race. Obviously down in 17th, but the people ahead of us needing to pit again. So let's just see how high we can get. Not expecting a lot, but let's get something. Really not going to get a point. But as I say, when we get those upgrades in, improve the staff, improve the drivers, hopefully by the end of, well, after a few races, maybe we can start looking at maybe scraping sort of a 10th place here and there, depending on the strategy decisions and the track and what tracks this car suits more than others. You can see we're sort of 14, 15, 16, 17 second gap to Albon. So the car is doing well. Hulkenberg only 7 seconds off of Albon as well, so not too bad at all. We're still in a good place. If we can have something happen in this race, we'll see. Oh, Norris in the pit as well, so Norris is now 11 seconds behind us. We're up in 16th, 10-second gap. He's obviously going to be quicker than us. Obviously the incident earlier has put Norris out of position in this race. We've got other people pitting, but I assume they're still going to come out in front of us. So we are pretty much at the moment where we're going to stay, unless anyone near us comes into the pits or still has a pit stop to make. I think 16th-ish is about where we're going to be. If Ocon pits, then we could definitely get Ocon. We've got 15 laps to go and a 7 seconds ahead of Norris. So can he make up enough time in the remaining laps to finish ahead of us? We will find out soon. Hulkenberg 22 seconds behind Norris and 20 ahead of Albon. So that's his race done, unless something really good happens. A safety car or something will need to come out for Hulkenberg to make any progress. But we are there then. 16th, Sebastian Vettel now 4 seconds ahead of Norris. What are we going to be able to do with Vettel? So there's a 3 second gap now. 21 kilos with 9 laps to go. Let's push ahead on the fuel. Let's see if we can keep Norris behind us. What are we looking at? So we can go aggressive on the tyres as well, because we can see here the curve. We've got more room to play. Hulkenberg spun again. What is he doing? Come on, don't just sit there. What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's a spin.
What are you doing?
What happened there?
Tell me he doesn't spin coming back onto the track. What?
And the team had such high hopes.
Wait, what did that? So he's locked up and then he's spun afterwards.
Let's have a look.
So he's gone off.
Let's have a look here. This was the Aston Martin.
And then he spun it. Oh my god.
They've spun their car.
He's spun it and locked up within the space of half a lap. I mean, come on.
Was a bitter blow.
If I wanted driving like that, I'd have kept Lance Stroll. Thankfully, I don't know how, but thankfully he's actually still ahead of the Williams of Albon and Latifi. So he hasn't actually lost any positions in that fight. We, at the moment, though, out of nowhere, have an opportunity with Vettel to finish ahead of Kevin Magnussen. We could finish 15th in this race. I can't do any more in terms of fuel and in terms of our aggression level on the tyres, so I'm just going to fast forward. I'm going to see how this plays out for a little bit. Can we get a move done on Magnussen? Because really we want to do it right at the end, but no, look, Magnussen's got a gap out on us again, 2 and a bit seconds. So I guess he pit late. I missed it, but I'm assuming he's pitted late or had an issue, a spun or something. And now Norris as well gone past us. We just can't do any more without risking the tyres. I can go to attack mode for a little bit,
with a great overtake, just
to see if we can keep that gap. But look, it's already dropped down to 2 seconds. There was nothing we could do. The Haas and the McLaren just too fast for us at this stage of the season. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward it then. Let's see what else is going on around the track. We've got Sainz up in first place, Leclerc, and we've got Leclerc fighting Perez for second and third. That's a really close fight. We've got teammates in Bottas and Zhou Guanyu with a really close fight as well. If we go on board,
We're not okay on fuel. Copy.
let's go on board then with Zhou as they go on to the main straight.
Copy.
Will we see a move then from Zhou Guanyu on his teammate Valtteri Bottas for 9th position in this race? I did think the Alphas might do better than that. We saw Bottas qualifying in 5th, so I did think Bottas, at the very least, of course, would be his teammate, but I thought he'd be higher up than that. But no move done then between Bottas and Zhou Guanyu on the main straight. Obviously, Bottas in the DRS of Pierre Gasly, so that is going to save Bottas. And Bottas now potentially going for a move on Gasly as he looks to go up the inside, and he gets the move done. Is Gasly going to come back at him? Has he got the pace? No. All on the softer tyres. All on the same compound. Probably all pitted around the same time, so it should be a pretty even fight. Bottas showing the speed then to get past Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Can Zhou Guanyu follow him through? We will certainly find out soon. Hulkenberg still in 18th. We find ourselves down in 17th. So unfortunately, not able to beat anyone at this stage of the race. Although we've got an incident. Is this going to help us out here? Who has crashed?
Now just focus on the Haas.
So it's Mick Schumacher. He's gone straight into the back. Is that?
See the contact there,
He's gone straight into the back. Is it Pierre Gasly? That's a penalty. What's happened? So we've got a penalty for Mick Schumacher. This must have been Tsunoda.
3 more laps.
Yeah, so Tsunoda there in 12th position. Gasly way up in 9th. So I'm assuming that was Tsunoda then he's gone in the back of. So Tsunoda's not been too affected by it. He's still up in 12th, but Magnussen's dropped down to 15th. Obviously sorry, Schumacher's dropped down to 14th. But he's still got a good advantage over Kevin Magnussen, 9 seconds behind. So assuming that penalty is probably 5 seconds, he should be fine. He should still finish in 14th. What other fights have we got going on? Then we've still got Perez chasing down with DRS on Charles Leclerc, looking to make it a 2nd place on the podium for Perez. He looks to go around the outside, and he's going to get that move done. So we'll go on board with Leclerc, and we'll see if he can come back. Can he come back? At Perez, it doesn't look like he's dropped out of the DRS zone with only 2 laps remaining. We're on to the final lap, actually. We've gone on to the final lap. Sainz leading this race, going for the win. Perez 6 seconds behind. Leclerc, I think, now too far behind to think about making another move to take that 2nd place.
This is last lap.
So that will be our podium positions unless something happens, unless we have an engine failure or something of that ilk to change the podium. I think that now is set with the last race. Verstappen's going to come home in 4th. So I don't know what's happened to him to make him 9 seconds behind everyone else. Maybe Perez will be the lead driver in the Red Bull on the F1 Manager game. We've got Hamilton and Russell as best of the rest. Really close racing between those two. Only 3 seconds in it on the last lap. Bottas, and we've ended up with a little DRS train here with Bottas, Alonso, Gasly and Zhou Guanyu in a little train of DRS on the final lap. Or just for them going into the final lap then. We are behind. If we go on board with Vettel, we're actually behind. So we have been lapped then by Verstappen. So we have been lapped by the top 4 drivers, which means we're going to come home 1 lap early, and it means that confirms we are going to finish this race in 17th. We know we're ahead of time, but we've still got this race here. Are we going to get some excitement then between these 4 guys before the end of this race? They're all on the last lap. What are we going to see? Who is going to come out on top in this battle for 7th in the final lap of the first race of the season at Bahrain? What are we going to see here? Will it be Bottas? Will it be Alonso? Will it be Gasly? Or will it be Zhou Guanyu? We've got no one else in this race. We've got 2 DRS fights here. Bottas obviously got the disadvantage at this stage of the race with no DRS. Alonso flying around the outside, putting himself in front of Valtteri Bottas with only a few corners to go. We've got Gasly in front of Zhou Guanyu. So actually the Alphas could end up finishing here 9th and 10th, despite looking really quick in practice qualifying and early on in this race. So we're going to go on board. It looks like Alonso has made the move. He's going to come home in 7th. Can Zhou Guanyu make the move to get in front of Pierre Gasly? It doesn't look like it. With only the 1 turn to go, they're going to come home with P7 for Alonso, P8 for Bottas, P9 for Gasly, unless we can get him on the line. But Gasly moves back across to cut him off. And that's it then for the points. So we have Sainz, Perez, Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Alonso, Bottas, Gasly and Zhou Guanyu taking home all of the points in this race. Ricciardo missing out, I'd say just missing out, but a massive 37 seconds nearly behind. Tsunoda behind him. Ocon looking to make a final move then on Yuki Tsunoda as we head down to the final corner for these guys. Can Ocon get the move done on Yuki to finish up in 12th position? He goes around the outside on the final corner, but Yuki with some good defensive work there, he's done enough. He's going to come home in 12th. Ocon home in 13th position. What a race we've had there then. The engineers are happy, Aston are happy. I know it's not winning races, but we've done what we set out to do. We've beat the Williams. Vettel as the #1 driver, kind of as expected. Hulkenberg doing the bare minimum, despite all of his attempts to ruin his race by locking up, going off, spinning. He still finished ahead of Albon and Latifi in the Williams. So that is success for us today, which puts us 9th and on equal points with Haas and McLaren. So if we can make improvements to this car over the first few races, we could be in competition with a Haas or a McLaren come the end of the season. But there's a long way to go to make that happen. So there we go. But that's it then, guys. That's the first episode of the F1 Manager game on LRN all done. If you are new around here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you've hit the bell icon as well to be notified of all future uploads on the channel as well. And we'll be back soon with episode 2 of our Aston Martin career series on F1 Manager. Otherwise, guys, just going to thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.